So come home, doors wide open, nobody's here. Awesome security we have.
For a moment, imagine this is your rental apartment and what you've been dealing with for months.
Beauty.
And no, it's not you who left the door wide open.
They were leaving holes through the walls for months at a time. They were leaving projects half completed.
Mike Reed's been begging for years for repairs to get done, and when they are, he says it's chaos.
You come home and you're frustrated because it's loud, it's hot and it's dirty. There's no downtime.
And then there's this.
So since the construction started, there's heavy machinery going on. We can't open the windows in any of the apartments on the east side of the building. Dust is just caking through. Sundays there's been work going on.
The sound of what he says is 6 a.m. construction. New tower going up next to his. Work is not supposed to start that early, and he complains. His current rent, $1,600 and climbing. But an identical unit is advertised for $2,995. Mike maintains he feels like the landlords want to push him out to get higher rents.
They want us out.
Don't like it? According to Mike, the management company says he can take them to the Landlord and Tenant Board, known as the LTB. And here's the thing. Mike is trying to do that, but that place is the crux of a crisis in Ontario.
The option that we want to take by getting in front of a judge, we've been told you're looking at minimum 24 months.
A 2-year wait? This is not how it used to be, according to a recent ombudsman's report. Several years ago, to schedule hearings could take just weeks. Now, it reports tens of thousands of people in Ontario have been denied justice because of excruciatingly long waits. Just try, for example, getting into the actual building.
So part of the problem here is that over the course of the pandemic, the in-person tribunals closed. They went online, which was fine. But now they're still online. They're not doing in-person. And there was already a backlog before the pandemic. Now, because of measures during the pandemic, that backlog is huge.
The numbers revealed most of the complaints are coming from landlords, almost 90% of them.
This is such a bureaucratic mess, like I'm done being landlord. This is a nightmare.
The complaints are coming from the likes of Raj Salwan, who owns an investment property, a condo.
Well, this building behind me, this is where my unit is, where my tenant has not paid since 19 months.
19 months of no rent. He's out over $30,000, money he doesn't have, and then there are the bills.
See how many bills I have here? This is a tax bill. I can't even open it. I am paying for her electricity, hot water, water bills, and I have plenty. I believe more than 15 or 16 here.
But you just can't bring yourself to open up the tax bill?
No.
Why is that?
I'm just going down into the hole, from line of credit, which is secured line of credit against my house, I'm dipping into that.
And so are you then facing the prospect of having to sell your primary home?
I can't even say those words, Hopefully not.
Selling the condo is not a great option. Who would buy with a tenant who won't pay and won't leave?
I check this page like 5 times a day.
We first met Raj earlier this summer. He'd already been waiting a year for a hearing date at the LTB.
Every time with the hope maybe something has changed. Maybe I have a hearing scheduled.
Nobody cares, nobody hears. I have not heard back from anybody. Call them and you're on hold for 40 minutes and then afterwards the guy will come on the phone and will tell you, nothing I can help you with.
Maybe you think these are rare or extreme cases, but consider the backlog at the LTB is now 38,000 files.
Do you not feel like paying rent this month? Then don't.
A system so broken, it's openly mocked and sometimes manipulated. Check out TikTok.
Did you know in Toronto you can't be evicted for not paying your rent? Your landlord actually has to go to court and wait at least 6 months of you not paying before they can do shit.
Then there are landlords also taking to social media, also fed up with the LTB.
Tenant just left, hasn't paid rent, and then he leaves the house in this condition. Someone has to do something about this. It's unbelievable.
Do something about it? One rough day at a time, some are trying.
In the last 2 to 3 years, it's been an absolute nightmare for anybody who's had to use the system.
There's that word again, nightmare. Elaine Page is a paralegal, used to take all sorts of cases, now spends 95% of her time on landlord-tenant files.
I have files where it's over $100,000 in arrears, all due to the delays. So if it was running efficiently, it would be great.
What is going on that everybody seems to point a finger at this entity?
You know, it's supposed to be user-friendly. You're not supposed to need representation. That's probably the furthest thing from the truth. If you make a single error, like a date or a misspelling of a name on a notice, then your application's thrown out.
Which is precisely what happened to Raj Salwa. After waiting for more than a year for a hearing date, he finally got one in August, only to realize at the last minute that there was a mistake in his application. So he's back at square one.
Because of a silly mistake, now you have to go back in line. I can't describe the mental agony the family has been through.
Again, his experience is echoed in that ombudsman's report, which describes an LTB with not enough adjudicators, antiquated technology, and an overly complicated system.
To what extent do all these problems at the Landlord-Tenant Board make the housing crisis that much worse?
The problems at the Landlord and Tenant Board make the problem profoundly worse. My clients that are not just selling their properties, if they're keeping them, they're moving into short-term rentals because they can't deal with what's going on.
And would you ever tell anyone you know or love to be a landlord?
Never. Never.
Rough realities call for extreme reactions.
Come, we're good. So they're building another building here. There's 5 going up across the street here. I don't see any of it being affordable housing.
Mike Reed did something in August he once vowed never to do. He reneged on his rent just once, just an experiment, to see if it could force a hearing. He hasn't heard a word.
It really feels like the system that was there for tenants and landlords has just disintegrated. It's fallen apart. There's nowhere to go to and get real answers.
And Raj Salwan, from the best of intentions to the worst of realities, he has no answers, only soaring debts. If he had faith in the system once, he surely doesn't anymore.
I want other people to learn from this. You know, like this is what is happening in Ontario. Stay out of this mess. This is not worth it at all.